Alright, what is up YouTube? It is CoolStoryBrobat with the 28th narrated Wi-Fi battle. Emphasis, Wi-Fi battle. This one's against a guy named DanielYoon10 off the Smogon Battle Finder, and I'm just glad that I finally got a Wi-Fi battle up. I've been wanting to get back to my roots for quite some time now, and I finally done it. I've still got a lot of interesting showdown battles, but I want to keep this as the main source. And just to top it off, look at that Hershey's chocolate in the background. That is delicious. Just look at that. That is sexy. All right. Anyway, this is a UU battle. This is a new team I've made recently, and it has worked wonders for me. I'm not gonna talk much about it here, but you'll see it as I go on. I'm also kind of sick from the last time I uploaded a video, if you didn't notice, and I'm getting over my sickness now. But it's like, my voice is all stuffed up and sounds incredibly weird. You probably didn't notice it, but now that you did notice it, you just got to deal with it. But anyway, let's get into this. When I use this team, I'm more impartial to leading off with Porygon-Z, my P2 unit. It's not the same Porygon-Z set you've seen in previous videos. This one is especially defensive, and it carries an interesting move. You don't usually see it very often. Now, he leads off with his Machamp, and this is already a big threat because, if I don't play right against this Machamp, something's gonna die on my team. I go for the discharge on the first turn, expecting him to set up Substitute. I cannot let him set up Substitute because if he sets that up safely, something's gonna die. So, he sets up Sub, I go for the Ice Beam afterwards, as I get the paralysis, no, he sets up Sub as I get the paralysis with discharge. And I can't even break his sub with a single Ice Beam, which is crazy. He went for the Stone Edge, predicting me to switch into Miss Magius, because Stone Edge would have one-hit KO'd it instantly, easy. But I stayed in predicting that, and it's pretty risky. It's pretty risky, but so far I got it down to half of its health. And now I switch out and go into my own Machamp, Captain Striations. I want to take advantage of the paralysis and be able to set up on it and outspeed it. So, I go for my own substitute in the event he might try to switch out to his Crobat or something. But he stays in, goes for the Dynamic Punch, he's paralyzed, and it breaks my sub instantly. So, I decide I just have to hit back on it. So, I go for my own Dynamic Punch, get a little bit of the Para Fusion going on here, make it pretty annoying for him. But, things don't always work out. I expected him to either die or hurt himself or get stuck in paralysis, but he actually gets fortunate enough to break through all three of those and just go straight for the Dynamic Punch back on me. And just as I came close to killing him, he's very close to killing me. And I can't let Captain Striations die here now, so I decided to switch it back out. And what did I switch in? I switched in Miss Magius here. I switched in Miss Magius, predicting another Dynamic Punch. I'm glad he didn't go for Stone Edge because it would have hurt it, but I would have been able to revenge kill it pretty easily. And he snaps out of Confusion, but I go for Thunderbolt in case he was thinking of switching in Empoleon. I was thinking that because it resists Shadow Ball, and Empoleon could just roar out if I went for Sub. If I was running Substitute, call my Miss Magius. He sends out his Azelf, and I send out my Porygon-Z, and because my Porygon-Z is especially defensive, and I know Azelf is a stealth rocker on his team, but I'm going to be able to try to hit it with Discharge, just to try to cripple it a little bit. I could take a Psychic any day of the week from Azelf, because like I said, especially defensive. And, isn't it interesting that, am I the only one that thinks that Shiny Azelf looks kind of like Sonic the Hedgehog? I don't know, maybe I'm overlooking too much into it, but it looks like Sonic the Hedgehog to me. Anyway, he switches out, it goes in his Porygon-Z as I go for Recover. I switch in Missy Elliott, and the funny thing is, I wasn't predicting Hyper Beam. I wasn't even predicting Tri-Attack. I was predicting him to go for Trick. I just felt like he was going to try to use Trick to get rid of Porygon-Z's Eviolite so he could start killing it. But he went for the Hyper Beam, so it's pretty deadly if I let it do what it does. I went for the Hidden Power Fighting as he switched in his Azelf, and I switched out into Porygon-Z as he switches in Porygon-Z again. He goes for a Thunderbolt, predicting me to possibly switch back out again, but prediction is a two-sided road. You never go the same way twice. I never try to do the same thing twice, But anyway, he sends out his Leviathan, his Milotic, and I go for the Discharge on it. It doesn't get paralyzed, and he sends out Milotic. I know he's going to try to go for Toxic or something on me. That's the only way he's going to break through Porygon-Z, so I go for Magic Coat. The surprise on Porygon-Z, which is why I lead with it so much. And he went for Hypnosis, which got bounced back at him by Magic Coat. Really good play on my part. I'm glad I did it. It was kind of easy to see it coming, but I just felt accomplished when I saw it happen. He sends out his Azelf, and I go for Missy Elliott again because, you know, I felt that Missy Elliott, even without investment, had enough special bulk to take a psychic, but he gets the critical hit here. So we'll never really know, but I'll just assume that I could have lived it. So I send out Chili, my Weavile. Now, I could have tried to set up on it, expecting him to switch out to Empoleon, but, you know, I figure if he does try to switch out, I could just switch out into something else. So I go for the Night Slash, and I run max speed. He might have thought that Azelf could have outsped mine, but it didn't. And Weavile's got like base 125 speed, which is like extremely fast. And I could have outsped Crobat and hit it with the Ice Punch if he ran the standard Jolly with 136 speed EVs, but, you know, I decided why not just switch in Bronzong and play it safe, because Bronzong takes nothing from Crobat at all. And he sends out his Sudon, his Empoleon. And I think it's kind of weird that Sudon is the only Pokemon on his name that's a nickname. Only Pokemon on his team that is a nickname and isn't in caps. And he's setting up Swords Dances on my Bronzong, and I'm physically defensive here. And I'm just like laughing. I'm like, if he, like, look at this, he's setting up Waterfalls. I'm just going for Earthquakes. I have no attack investment whatsoever, and I'm just doing damage. Just chipping his health away ridiculously. So you know he's got to have, like, probably max speed and max attack or something on it. That's probably what I'm assuming his spread is, but he goes for the +4 Aqua Jet, and it just does half damage to me. Like, just half, and I just killed you off with 3 Earthquakes. Like, if you had Waterfall and got the flinch hacks, I would have been a little bit worried, but that was just an underwhelming display of power. It could be good for cleaning up late game, but I could see, like, Kabutops doing that better. Unless you actually did run a bulky spread on Empoleon. But anyway, it's not my team, I'm not there to judge. So I send out Porygon-2, my P2 unit again as he goes for Porygon-Z, and I tank the Hyper Beam, and I go for Discharge, and I just knew that I was going to get Paralysis. I don't know how, but I just knew it, because even if I didn't get the Paralysis hacks, I could have just switched because I know he's choiced and using Hyper Beam, and I could have, you know, I could have taken it with anything else. But I just sit here taking Hyper Beams and spamming Recover and Discharge. And, you know, I mean, Hyper Beam on Porygon-Z is a two-edged sword. You know, it does ridiculous damage with stab and adaptability and Porygon-Z's massive special attack, but at the same time, you just get shut down like that. And he forfeited right there. And, yeah, good game, DanielYoon10. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, favorite, whatever. There will be more battles on the way. And once again, dig that sexy chocolate format thing. Also, is it bad that, you know, his in-game name is Snake? Is it bad that when I saw him forfeit, the only thing I could think to myself is, Snake! Like, only thing I could think of is the Colonel coming up out of nowhere and saying, Snake! Answer me! Snake! 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 Yeah, Metal Gear Solid references. Anyway, thank you guys for watching.